Avengers Infinity War. And it's hard to talk about this film without giving spoilers. So I'll try and talk in as vague terms as I can. Going into this film, there were three things that I was concerned about most. I'm a big fan, or a medium-sized fan of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's okay. It's undoubtedly the best interconnected universe of movies around at the moment. And they make undoubtedly the best superhero films. And if you say otherwise, you're lying. The three things I was worried about were Thanos, the mixing of the styles of these different movies, and the number of characters that are in these, and the number of characters that's in this new movie. In the past, Marvel movies and superhero movies in general have had a tendency towards vapid villains. There's a great video, which I will put a little card thingy up to, called about Marvel's big and superhero movie big grey villains. And it's true, just a prime example, the last Avengers movie, Age of Ultron. He was literally a big grey villain who just wanted to destroy the world because. So I was worried that Thanos would be the same, especially with such a garishly evil plan. But somehow they managed to make him almost sympathetic. And I think that's thanks in no small part to the performance of the actor who I suddenly forget the name of. I'll put it here. He does a fantastic job. Being Thanos, he's tough when he needs to be and not tough when he doesn't need to be tough. But he feels, I don't want to say human, he feels like an actual character, not some unfaltering thing like in, say, Justice League. He has weakness, and you see it throughout the film. And that was my first worry. I was worried that they wouldn't do the villain right, because it's an important villain. It's an important movie. End of Phase 1, allegedly. So that was one of the things I was worried about, checked off my list. Second thing I was worried about was the mixing of the styles. Take, say, Black Panther, Doctor Strange, and Guardians of the Galaxy. These are three films with drastically different visual styles. There's no way, realistically, you can mix those. But somehow, they did it. Somehow they mixed all of the different... I don't even know how many Marvel movies there are now. Somehow they mixed all of their styles and managed to make it work. So that's two things I was worried about, checked off my list. Third thing I was worried about is characters. There's so many characters, there's no way you're going to give them enough screen time. There were a couple of characters that weren't in this film, actually. Hawkeye and Ant-Man weren't in it. Probably some other people. But I don't remember them, so they probably weren't that good. But somehow they managed, again, to surprise me and gave everyone screen time. Which was shocking. I wasn't expecting much for this film because of the history the Marvel movies have, especially Avengers movies. I didn't think the first Avengers movie was... it wasn't amazing. It was good. It was a fantastic mix of all of the Marvel movies up to that point. It was fun, had some good action, but it wasn't anything spectacular. Age of Ultron was disappointing, even by comparison. But this film, I think, takes it a step beyond because it's a genuinely good movie. I mean, just look at some of the visuals. I don't have them because you're going to have to watch the film. Some of the visuals are stunning. There are a couple of scenes that are way too short, in my opinion, where Thanos is in these almost dream realms. And they're very good looking. They're very simplistic. But there's nothing wrong with that. I'd say that this film is a fantastic setup for Phase 2 of the Marvel Universe. I'll get back to that in the spoilers section. There were a couple of things that annoyed me, like Tony has his new suit, but it's essentially just Black Panther's suit now, and also he has a bunch of things that he just doesn't use when he could. Namely, those giant laser beam things that he has come out of his back that's on this poster, right there. There are 1,000 times he could have used those, but he only uses them once in the whole movie, at the beginning. That's not a spoiler, I don't think, so... Now, speaking of spoilers, this film is incredibly hard to talk about without giving a million billion spoilers. So, for that reason, I'm going to give this my rating and then we're going to move into spoiler talk. I would give this a strong green star. I don't think this film is physically capable of getting a gold star due to the fact that if you don't know any of the other Marvel movies, then this film, you're going to be completely lost. Realistically, everyone knows at least a little bit about each Marvel movie, or enough of the Marvel movies. So it's not that big a deal, but it's still there. You know, in 20 years' time, someone couldn't pick this up and go, I'll give this a watch, and have it make total sense, because realistically, they're not going to have seen every film from Iron Man onwards. It's just not realistically. So this gets a solid green star. It's probably... I'm tentatively going to say that it's the best Avengers movie to date. But that's tentative, because I might just be riding off the high emotions from having seen it an hour ago. So now we're moving into spoiler talk. So if you haven't seen the movie, get out and go and watch it. Unless you're not going to watch it at all and you don't care about Marvel, you just hear from me. Right? Yeah? Call me. So, into spoiler talk we go. It's hard to talk about this movie without mentioning spoilers. I've already said that, but I'm saying it again. Because things happen from the beginning of this movie onwards. Things that are huge spoilers. And now this is spoiler talk. So everyone who's going to watch the movie has watched it. If you haven't watched the movie and I want you to, get out now. I don't care what your excuse is. Leave. Okay, now that they're gone. The first major death of this film, Loki, didn't hit me that hard because he's died like 3 times already. So I was sort of thinking, okay, Loki's dead again. It was pretty brutal death. And then they say, you're not coming back from this one. And I was like, oh, maybe he's not. That's pretty hefty. They're really going all out for this movie. And then they killed Heimdall. I liked Heimdall a lot. I like Idris Elba. It is Idris Elba. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I mixed up so many actors. I mixed up Iron Man and Captain America, Chris Evans and Robert Downey. They're not even similar. uh, but I killed Heimdall, and I really liked Heimdall. I was really sad. And then no one dies for the rest of the movie, and everyone's happy. And at the end of the movie, Thanos is killed, and everyone's happy. The end. The end of the movie really got to me, I'm going to be honest. But it wasn't all of the deaths that got to me. There were some that I sort of saw coming. Falcon, I saw coming. I expected Pepper Potts to die, but she was only in one scene. When Black Panther died, that one got me. I was like, whoa, he's a very popular character. And he's just had his movie come out. That's ballsy. There's no noise in the background, please ignore it. But then they killed off... Oh, who'd they kill? Groot? They killed off Drax and Mantis, and I was thinking, whoa. No, I liked them. But then the two that really got me the most... No, they killed off Doctor Strange, and I thought, no, he was cool. But then the two that got me the most was Star-Lord. Now, I like Chris Pratt. I've got his picture up here that you can't see the top of. But then Spider-Man, that one really got me. Because they wanted it to really get you, and it really did. And I was like, oh my gosh. And it's a super ballsy ending. But the problem with it is that they've set up this precedent. And I feel like everyone's just going to come back in the next movie. They're going to find some way to bring everyone back. Especially after that post-credit sequence where Miss Marvel... And I feel like Miss Marvel's going to find some way to bring everyone back. And it said Thanos will return. So I'm guessing the Miss Marvel's going to get a hold of the Infinity Gauntlet. She's going to somehow be able to wield it. She's going to bring everyone back. Even though the Infinity Gauntlet was clearly broken. See, I'm torn. Because whilst there are so many characters I don't want to be dead, I don't want them to go back on it. They have made their bed and they should lie in it. And this is a hefty setup for Phase 2. This is powerful. Everyone in the universe, half of all life in the universe, gone. Just disappeared. That is quite the setup. Some important figures as well. Head of King of Wakanda, dead. Who knows who else? Nick Fury, dead. All the Guardians of the Galaxy, except Rocket, dead. Can't remember what happened to Bruce Banner. He was in the Hulkbuster suit. And then he got trapped in the rock face. And I don't remember seeing him again. That ending, man. Fantastically done as well, with the complete silence, lack of soundtrack. And just the sound effects. That was powerful. That was a good decision, especially because Marvel tend to overdo their soundtracks. And then just very generic soundtracks. What a movie. How's Tony Stark and Nebula going to get off that planet? It's not like the Guardians could come save him. There are no Guardians. This film haunting me. Bam. I am excited to see where they're going to take this, and I hope they don't mess it up by just bringing everyone back. I kind of want them to bring a couple of characters back, but I want to see Doctor Strange again. I want to see Spider-Man again. If I had to use anyone to come back, it would be Spider-Man. Especially seeing as he just got the Iron Spider suit. Star-Lord. I love Chris Pratt. Oh, blimey. What a movie. A couple of issues with timing. Like the first scene. The entire Asgardian race being murdered. And then it cuts to, if I remember correctly, some kind of joke. Maxim Batty describes it well when he says it's like a gut punch and then it tickles you, and then a gut punch and then it tickles you, and then a gut punch and then it rubs it in, and then it asks you if you like that, and then it punches you in the back of the skull. Thanos will return, that's what it said. What a movie. Normally I like to record half an hour of footage. Actually, I'll point that out now. I didn't release a review last week because I didn't have much to say. I like to record half an hour of footage and then edit it down to 10 minutes and then release a half an hour version. But the film I watched last week, Ghost Stories, didn't have much to say. There was just nothing to say about it. So I just didn't. I'll put the uncut version in the description of this video, but other than that, not much to say about it. Avengers Infinity War gets a strong green star on my 4-star scale. Oof. Looking forward to seeing where they take it. It was a good movie. I think a lot of people are going to complain because a lot of people like to be contrarians against Marvel. But I thought it was a good movie. It was a good Avengers movie. It was much. They've clearly tried their best to do what we keep asking them to do. They had a good villain. They took some risks, some really ballsy risks. The writing was mostly great. There's nothing really you couldn't, other than the fact that it kind of still follows the general Marvel formula. That's just how Marvel works, really. I didn't expect them to show all of the deaths in this film. I expected Thanos to get all the stones. Actually, I was going through, thousands of things were going through my head. When they almost got the gauntlet off him, and then Star-Lord ruins it, I was thinking, oh, maybe they do get it off him. Maybe the twist is that Tony gets hold of the gauntlet or something, and then he decides that he wants to be in charge, or Drax or something. But no. And then after that, after he got the time stone, I thought, okay, so he's going to get all the stones, and then he's going to click, and then it's going to roll credits. But no, I didn't expect it to go as far as it did, and I love that. That is fantastic. And if anyone complains about this movie, they got to reconsider some things. They're either, if people complain about this being too different from other Marvel movies, then that's stupid, obviously. I love, they've got to take risks. Taking risks is a good thing. If people complain about this just because it's a Marvel movie and they say, oh, it's just another Marvel movie, I will also have something to say about that, because it's not. It clearly is trying to take into account all the things that we as viewers have said we don't like about these films. Not all the things, actually, to be fair, but they're clearly trying to take into account a lot of the things that we as viewers have been complaining about. I'd say this film captures that almost too well. But that's all I have to say about this movie for now. I might say more on Twitter. The moment I got out, in fact, before I even got out of cinema, as the credits were rolling, I wanted to put something on Twitter, but all I could bring myself to say was that I watched the movie. I'm a big nerd, so I like Marvel movies. And this is definitely one of the better ones. And I'd say, even if you don't, if you haven't liked Marvel movies and Avengers movies especially, this one might fix a lot of the problems you had with them. Maybe give it a watch. I give it a strong green. Adios.